Okay, so Lori comes over and he just takes the mic away. So I was so excited to want to do this because I believe that what Jason said, that this is about leadership. It is about leadership, and I never believed in any associations when I was involved in other things. I wasn't thinking about it, but many of you know who have been here after 9/11. Okay, we started something called the Convention Exhibit Meeting Coalition. And we put together a team of 400 people who worked tirelessly almost for 6 months after 9/11 to help bring the city back. How many people here were involved in that? I mean, there's a lot of people here that were involved in it. It was called CB. And it made me realize the importance of leadership and the importance of getting involved in your community. And it was probably one of the most rewarding things that I have ever done. And it taught me that if you give, you're going to get back. And it's that rule of nature that really works. And so we're here today to talk about leadership and getting people involved. Whether you're involved or your company is involved or the people in your company involved, encouraging them to get to be part of the community, to peek over the fence to see what other people are doing is more important than you can ever imagine. So we're going to start with the elevator pitch. If I had a little cheat sheet when I got involved in this industry to figure out what the initials meant and everything, it would be a lot easier. Because I felt embarrassed to ask, I don't know what site is or PCMA. Everybody talks in jargon, and we really don't understand any of it, right? Until you sort of get it translated. So we're going to go down the line. We're going to start with Tom, and he's going to talk about MPI in the elevator pitch for 30 seconds.
All right. My name is Chris Lynn. I'm the incoming president for PCMA, the Professional Conference Managers Association. Our audience is talking to association planners and to the corporate meeting planner, but also the connectivity, of course, with our supplier base, which is something I think we all share in common. But I think the aspects, of course, of networking and of education, but one of the things that sets PCMA apart is its thought leadership, which really takes not only the industry advocacy internationally, but very much champions the sense of collaboration across our industry.
Can you explain a little bit about the difference between PCMA and MPI in terms of, is it more associate? This is what, I may be wrong with this, so I don't know if it's wrong, correct me. More association, MPI is more corporate? True? False?
The main difference is that PCMA is more corporate meeting planner and association, as opposed to MPI being more about the corporate meeting planner. Of course, there are...
Sounds like a little overlap.
There is overlap, absolutely. Certainly I would say MPI is probably more international in its reach and in its chapters. But say on the industry advocacy, PCMA very much has I think led the challenge, but in collaboration with everybody else.
But the same person that goes to the PCMA event in January, would they go to IMAX or WP? It's a different thing?
It tends to be
If that was confusing to me, I don't know if it was confusing to you. But, right? I'm going to ask questions I think are stupid.
What we found, and again, as a supplier who does attend both, is that we'll attend MPI's annual convention that will access people involved in the planning of events, but will access people at the PCMA's annual who are decision makers for the events.
Would a person join both PCMA and MPI?
Yes. Yes.
And is that pretty common among?
Yes.
Yeah. And okay. How many people here are members of both PCMA and MPI? Not that many, right? So we have more targets we can get.
More.
We got to get everybody to join these organizations. Okay. Thank you. I want to ask everyone: how many people are members of any of these organizations? Let me go the other way. How many people are not members of any of these organizations? Okay. And so your job is to convince them to join your organization. And actually, you're not talking to them, but this is social media world. You're really talking to them and their 17 friends and their 17 friends and their 17 friends. So this is the pitch to do that. And so I want to start first with...
Wow, okay, follow that.
Okay. She'll come kiss you. Yeah. She'll kiss everybody.
Thank you, David.
I think for
that for the record.
I think for PCMA, certainly career development and business development have been two of the main takeaways, in that we've all got a paying job to do with objectives which you need to achieve to stay in that job. So and very much in getting access through your network, it's not necessarily about networking, but about creating a network. And that can be as simple as just saying hi. I mean, how many times do we not say anything in the, we talk about elevator pitch, but no one talks in the elevator at all. So it's actually, start talking in the elevator. We live in high rises, start talking in the elevator to do that. But also it's about, I think, getting involved. It's not necessarily about leadership. Not everyone wants to take on leadership. But not everyone has time. You know, we're all quite time-starved. But actually, if you have 5 minutes to give, then just give 5 minutes. That 5 minutes is going to get you a lot further ahead. So I think it's about just putting your hand up and getting involved, however that might be. And if you don't see it on a website about how to get involved, simply ask, how can I get involved? And this is what I can offer you, but I can't offer everything you're listing.
We recommended the event community to go to NYC & Company and start this CME organization. They had no plans of doing it, we just did it. And you have the power to do that when you have colleagues that you can work with. And it's sort of like, we can think and do whatever we decide we want to do to make something better. And that is the purpose of today. That's what's so great about this. Okay, let's hear. Site had the privilege of working with the State Department for the last 6 years. And one of the jobs was to raise $21 million for the 8th floor of the State Department as a museum. And so what can we do? We can do anything we want. So we decided to have Charlie Rose interview Hillary Clinton and Henry Kissinger together. And the one thing I learned about our business from that discussion was when Henry Kissinger said to Hillary, you know, Hillary, I can't do a Henry Kissinger accent, that you're drinking from a fire hose every day. All you are doing is spending your intellectual capital. You cannot make decisions. You have to take time to build your intellectual capital. And that he says he takes time off all the time to go to conferences, to go to meetings, to study and learn. And what these associations do are a way to build your intellectual capital. And I learned that, I thought, that's the reason we do conferences. And it was really an eye-opening thing for me. So, so that's my advice to why you should also get involved. We have heard about networking, we heard about taking a leadership role, we talk about building your intellectual capital in your niche, which is pretty fantastic. Now I want to go and sort of touch a little bit on the economic aspects of this. Like, what does it cost to join, and why is it worth it, and how do you pitch your boss to get to be a member? I mean, why spend the money to do it? What crosses the Rubicon to get you there? And talk a little bit about why it was worth it and how you actually got your company, your organization to pay for it. Because most of these are paid for by companies, yes or no? Most of the companies are paying for us. So how do you convince well, if you're an individual entrepreneur, your company's paying for it, but you've got to make the decision whether it's worth it or not. So you're voting with your dollars in this. So this is kind of the little bit of the tough question. Tom, you want to give it a shot?
I think for PCMA, our fees are very similar to MPI's as far as the price point. But I think also Darren makes a very good point as far as individuals valuing why there should be a member. Not it should be an entitlement. It should be that it is a route to business or a route to ambition or to take you on that journey. I think very simply, often by one shake of a hand, it's amazing how that one piece of business will pay for it from a supplier side. So it is also there about getting involved from that point of view, because all too often I found when I first got involved, I then have a seat at the table with industry professionals. It's not about, and I'm super kind of against the whole supplier-buyer categories, because we're all event professionals, we're all industry professionals. So let's all join the conversation together as equals in doing that.
Yeah, that's learning is we're going much more global, and everybody around the world is doing exactly the same thing that we're doing. And so that's really interesting. So, okay, so but then we have all these events that you do together, right? How do you guys work together? I go to Christmas parties and it's everybody together, so why not just have one big organization? What's your answer to that, Tom? The hot seat, Mr. Vice President of the class of what?
High school or college?
Oh my God, college. What college?
03.
03, and then what, were you the Vice President in college too?
No, I was president of my fraternity.
President of your fraternity. Now we're really getting to that. Okay, so tell us a little bit about what everybody's doing together. Let's talk about collaboration, because we are all in one industry and we're all have the same goals. And to me, the goal is to get people to collaborate, to have conversations, and change the world.
PCMA does have a student rate. It's $40, and then also similar to MPI, that tiered transition rate between graduation and going into employment. Certainly opportunities throughout all of our committee work to be involved. It's about being hands-on and seeing how it works and not just reading it in a textbook. But also from that point of view, we do have one of our committees which is dedicated towards our emerging leaders, but that's also not just about people graduating. Certainly, as Tom mentioned, sometimes people find our industry later. It's not the first job out of college. So actually, we want to encourage anybody at any time of their career to be able to get involved and benefit from our industry.
We love to have.
So maybe there's some interesting thing about our discussion at the table and here about using YEP to be a feeder organization for your mentoring programs, which would be a great connection. And we see that, I think that we appreciate that YEP is hosting this, which shows tremendous initiative on their part to even think about this idea. So I congratulate them for that. And I want to open up for anyone have questions out there.